Morning, the political future of ANC veteran Derek Hanekom is up for discussion at the party's NEC meeting happening this weekend. That's after EFF leader Julius Malema revealed Hanekom met with party officials to discuss a no-confidence vote in former President Jacob Zuma. Now, some in the ANC are calling for Hanekom's expulsion. Secretary General Ace Magashule has labelled him a charlatan working to divide the governing party. Well, the ANC says it will reflect on the matter this weekend because it may not only be Hanekom who allegedly colluded with the opposition. Samkele Maseko has more.
It's in this sixth-floor corridor at Luthuli House that ANC, NEC and NWC member Derek Hanekom finds himself in hot water. The man in charge of the governing party's headquarters, Secretary General Ace Magashule, launching a scathing attack on Hanekom in a midnight statement, calling him a charlatan. Walking into his office, ENCA bumped into Magashule, who didn't want to comment further on his statement.
The
SG later came back to say another statement had been released by him and his deputy, Jesse Duarte, on Hanekom's meeting with the EFF.
Here's the statement we issued to the SG.
Okay. Just a summary, SG?
No, read the statement.
As the SG tries to deal with the political fallout of his statement, his allies are preparing for war to remove Hanekom from the party's National Executive Committee.
Now, first of all, be suspended as a member of the ANC, and we expect that to happen immediately. And then this matter must also go to the National Executive Committee of the ANC. That will be in session tomorrow and processed, and Mr. Hanekom should be expelled from the ANC forthwith.
The party's NEC will this weekend debate Hanekom's admission that he met with EFF SG Gadi to discuss the vote of no confidence in President Jacob Zuma in 2017. Now acting ANC spokesperson Dakota Lihuete says no party leader must ever conspire with the opposition for the destruction of the party.
Look, this is one of the current issues. I think even though the agenda is determined by the top six and the National Working Committee, this one is a current issue. I'm definitely sure that the leadership of the ANC, either even if there is no report, they will have to reflect on it and set the tone for all members of the ANC, because it may not only be him who has colluded with the opposition.
Now Zuma has entered the fray, saying Hanekom is a known enemy. Samkele Maseko, Johannesburg.
Well, brand reputation management advisor Solly Moeng joins us now. We're asking this morning, what do these divisions do to the reputation of the governing ANC? Solly, good morning.
Good morning.
And I suppose, yes, it's all about brand, and perception out there. What is it looking like at the moment as we sit here this morning for the ANC?
I think the ANC doesn't care anymore. We have to, first of all, ask which ANC are we talking about.
Okay, yeah.
You know, there's a version of the ANC that's trying to save the party and hopefully South Africa with. There's a version of the ANC that's too desperate to even think of reputation. It doesn't mean anything to them. It's about survival. It's about making sure they continue getting access to the money and that they never get to go to the courts.
So at the moment, when you say it doesn't seem like they care at the moment, would it be they're not particularly worried about what is going on between them? They're not worried about what South Africans actually think about them at the moment? Just for clarity's sake, what are we saying?
Well, there is a priority of needs. You know, I think that they're at a point where reputation, image, those things are no longer at the top of the pile. Now they're worried about what could possibly happen to them tomorrow. They're worried about the access they used to enjoy to the money, to the state-owned institutions, to controlling the levers of power. All of those things are being slowly taken away from them. But the thing is, of course, the image of the ANC has been damaged for the past 10 years in the eyes of many South Africans, in the eyes of the world, in the eyes of many fellow African brothers and sisters in the rest of the continent, and it's not getting better. So I'm not sure that they care whether people like them or they don't like them anymore.
It's a matter of survival.
It's a matter of survival.
Okay,
yeah.
So, I mean, often you would think that the reputation of the leader is how you see it first, and in that we're talking about the president at the moment and what's going on with him. Have we seen any reputational damage for Cyril Ramaphosa at this point? And he should care.
Yeah, we have. Look, all brands, including political party brands, have to be They have to have a vision, they have to have a good, strong leader, they have to have a set of values, and those things have been mishmashed in the ANC. And the leader has to be very strong, the leader has to live the values, the leader has to be very clear about what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. The leader has to know how to make decisions that might not be popular in the party. He has to know how to put his foot down, and we haven't seen a lot of that in the ANC, in the ANC's President Ramaphosa, which is really unfortunate.
And he's facing, quite some serious battles at the moment as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he doesn't. He also has lost the moral high ground that he used to occupy, because some people in his own party are able to look at him and say, but wait a minute, you're not as clean or cleaner than we are. So he's not able to look down at them and say, wait a minute, this is not acceptable, you can't do this, because they have things also on him, apparently, and that is making it hard for him to be the leader that he must be.
So you have what's going on with the public protector and the president at the moment, what's going on with Pravin Gordhan and the public protector at the moment. Then we have the Derek Hanekom saga that's come up. And like the ANC says now, it may not only be him. So what of that is hurting the party the most at the moment, would you say? Or is it everything?
Well, everything.
All of it together?
Look, the ANC is not only a party that's able to say anything in one voice. They can't articulate political policy in one voice. They cannot articulate economic policy in one voice. And again, it's the matter of survival for the group that's losing its grip on power. They're now going after all these people who support Cyril Ramaphosa. They're weakening Cyril Ramaphosa. Basically, they're isolating him from the pack. It's like if you watch Net Geo and you watch those pack of lions going after the weakest of the animals. That's what they're doing to him. They're isolating the Gordhans, they're isolating the Hanekoms of this world, so that he ends up standing on his own.
Can the ANC afford, though, not to care, like we say? We're already hearing about a downgrade related to decisions around Eskom and what's been happening there. Right. Can they afford, or do they need to wake up this morning and say, okay, let's try and fix this? And what would be the best way to fix this?
Well, they needed to wake up long ago. When Zuma was messing up this country, when everybody else said, take this man out of that position, they defended him, despite everything that was happening to the country. I don't know if they'll ever wake up. They do need to wake up. They do need to wake up for the sake of South Africa, because when the ANC catches a cold, or coughs, we all catch a cold, So they are the ruling party or the governing party of South Africa. They determine the perceptions about South Africa abroad, whether in the investor community, whether tourists, other people looking at South Africa, people who had hope that this country would be the democratic leader in Africa. They've lost that hope. And while the ANC is still in power, it's a pity. I have no idea how they won the elections, but they have won the elections. They are the guys who are in power for the next 5 years. We have no choice but to hope that they wake up and realize that their conduct is hurting this country.
It's been a bit of an anticlimax since those elections, hasn't it?
Sorry?
It's been a bit of an anticlimax after those elections in terms of our expectations.
Yeah,
okay, well, thanks very much. Let's hope, with their big meeting this weekend, brainstorming how to fix that reputation and brand, Solly, might be somewhere on the agenda as well. Thank you very much. Solly Mueng, their brand reputation management advisor. Now, the other